Today I'd like to share with you an amazing game with an amazing attack. As you can see in this position, after observing this game, you're going to say, who is this Stal? He don't worth anything in front of this player. So without further ado, let's dive in. The game played in European Chess Championship 2022 very recently. White player, a grandmaster, start the game with e4 and black player reply with c5. Now we have knight f3, d6, the Najdorf variation, a very interesting opening. If you read the book, Fischer's book 60 Memorable Games, then you're going to play this variation and King's Indian Defense. So it's very nice opening actually for brave people. And now he recaptured there, knight f6, knight c3, a6 and bishop to g5. This is the main line of the Najdorf variation and one of the most complicated and heavy theoretical lines after this bishop to g5. Here black player played this move e6, this is okay, it's natural move, but I like little more this knight b to d7 because we have a very nice and nasty trap. After this f4, queen c7, here queen to f3, we can play h6. He should decide what he's going to do, and after this and this, most people here castling long side, and after that we can pin the queen to the rook. He's going to lose the exchange now because we are attacking the queen, and here be careful because after knight d5 this is not working because we can capture this knight, and after queen takes we have another double attack, knight to e3. I managed to do this in many blitz games, live blitz games or online. It's very nice line actually. So here he didn't play that one, he played e6, this was a variation just for you, and now he played f4, knight b d7, queen f3, queen there. Both players are developing their pieces. We are going to the sweet part very soon, and after a4 he is trying to stop this b5 idea. This is a positional move, try to stop this, and after that white can castling long side. We have b6, g4, and now black played bishop to e7, natural move. He is trying to develop his pieces and castle short side to do this short castling. I really like this bishop to b7, it's an interesting move, interesting way to continue the game. But in any case we have this one and now long castling. Actually here I should mention that e5 is not working, and I should mention as well that I'm not using computer, so I might create some mistakes here of the analysis, but it doesn't matter so much because it's more important to analyze and make this analyze these complicated games by your own in order to improve your calculation abilities. For that reason I just calculate it myself and I'm providing what I'm thinking. But here he's trying to attack the knight and the rook, but we have this bishop b7 move, very nice move, and we are counter attacking the queen, saving the rook, and then we can save the knight or just capture the center of the board. So this attacking move is not working and he's just castling long side. We have castling short side, and you can see in Sicilian defense and this Najdorf variation particularly we have opposite castlings, and this is very interesting because one side is going to attack this king, pushing forward their pawns, and the other side, black side, should try to do something in the other side of the board on the queen side. So we have here bishop e2. I just checked this game with one of my friends, and he criticized that move actually. He didn't like it at all because maybe white is losing little time here. He suggested something like h4 to start attacking immediately in the king side. Logical enough, so we have this move. Black just developed his pieces, takes, he captures with the bishop here, and g5, try to attack the bishop. And after bishop e7 we have here h4. Black has to do something right now, because if he just sit and waiting, try to develop his pieces more, white can play this move h5, and after that something like g6, and this construction with the pawns is under attack, very vulnerable, and maybe the knight can land on e6. So white has some real problems right now, real problems, and for that reason black played this move b5, very dynamic move, very nice move, try to create a counter attack on the queen side. He's sacrificing a pawn, but the pawn is not so important right now because the piece activity, it's a superior factor. We should have piece activity to do something or to open lines against the enemy king, try to do something like that. So here maybe he captured actually, and now we can recapture. White can capture with many moves, with 2 knights or the bishop. If he just goes like this, we can play queen b6, and here you can feel the pressure, because the queen put some pressure here, put some pressure on the other pawn, eyeballing b2, we have a nice check on a1, the other rook can join the attack like this, and this pawn, this extra pawn on c2, let's say it's not very important right now. During the game, he just captured with the bishop, logical, knight to c5, not only bring a piece closer to the enemy king, but now we have some threats against e4. So here the knight and bishop are attacking, are aiming to this pawn on e4. So f5, and here we have another amazing move, White is attacking heavily in the king's side, and the position is very complicated, because he can play something like this, he can sacrifice a knight, he can push here, he can push there, he's threatening to capture on e6. We have a very complicated position, and black should react in the center of the board actually, and he played d5. Very nice move, because he is trying to liberate all of his pieces. And after this capture, white has a lot of other interesting options as well, but after this we have bishop to d6. He just sacrificed 2 pieces. With black we have Stelios Halkias, one of the best players, one of the best Greek players, and definitely he is the most amazing chess player. He is very entertaining to see his games, because he is very brave and he is creating these complicated factors, and he knows how to handle the initiative. What is the initiative? When you have threats against the enemy, and now we might threat something on f4. This king is a little vulnerable, you have a lot of open lines. White cannot capture there because the queen is pinned. If he just captures like this, maybe we can open more lines here, and he facing some problems. So he played this one in order to stop this check on f4, very dangerous check actually for black. And now we have a capture, and now white played this move, and after bishop to e5 he take a very interesting decision. He played king to d2. I can understand it from one point of view, because he felt very vulnerable here on this c1 square. A lot of tactics can happen. For example, if we just eliminate this knight, okay, let's put it back, or put it there actually, let's put it here, and after this and this we have a nice double attack here on the king and queen. As you can see, this is a pinned tactical, we have a tactical background for black pieces. This is why he just took this decision. I can understand it, because he put the king in maybe in a safe square, he avoid any instant checks or attacks, and he is not going to capture this pawn, and he would like to hide behind this d5 pawn. This is white's idea actually, and he would like to organize his pieces, and maybe later he can push the rook here, and maybe this is a passed pawn, right? And if we exchange some of the pieces, maybe he is dreaming to push forward this b2 pawn. This is what he did actually. And now we have rook f to d8. This is another nice tactical background, because he's putting the rook opposite to the enemy king, and in the right moment he can jump forward on e4 actually, and maybe after some exchanges he can open up the line. This is why he played this move, and he is creating little more squares for his king. Now king e2, knight e4, rook f3, try to consolidate his position. White is trying to consolidate his position, but we can see here black successful strategy, because he just sacrificed one pawn, only one pawn, and he has amazing and fantastic active pieces in the center of the board. You can see the rooks are active, the queen, everything is very active. This is the extra pawn, but white cannot use it right now, cannot use the power. Now we have this one, rook f to b8, and you should be careful about hanging and semi-hanging pieces. This rook is eyeballing the bishop. Actually, he cannot capture this bishop right now. It's impossible to capture this bishop right now, but maybe in the future have some problems. And similarly, this b2 pawn is in the same file of the rook. For that reason, he played this move. Now we have g6. Finally, white tried to do something in the other side of the board, but maybe it's a little too late. We have bishop a1. Black invite white to capture something here, but it's very difficult for white to open up lines. And after this queen recapture, knight e6, attacking the rook, rook here, knight takes d5, and now it's the interesting point that I provided at the beginning. of this video, and you can see a lot of pieces are hanging here, but we have a check here on c2. King d3, and suddenly the rook is hanging, the knight is hanging, the bishop is hanging, this knight is hanging as well, but we have a problem. White has a real problem here, and the real problem is the king, because this king don't have a safe squares around him, or he don't have a lot of friendly pieces to support him. And now Stelios played a very nice move, and he is very famous for his calculation abilities, and he calculated this very accurately. During the game, White just captured on e4, and I just wondering why he didn't capture the rook, right? He had something, and I figure out that after this he can capture on b5. Of course, you are welcome to check it by yourself. I didn't check it with computer, it's my own analysis. And here I think the best move is, now you can capture another piece, and the best move for black is to capture here on b2, because if he just give a check, he can start running away. You can see we can capture there, and after king e1, we give some checks, but the king escaped. For that reason, we have to do something else, and here we have queen takes b2. This is check. And after this we have another check on b3, and after king c4 we have a very difficult move to spot actually. Now we can check the game, but you can imagine that players calculate this ahead in their mind. And here we have the very beautiful move rook to b4, skewering the king, and after, for example, knight takes, we can capture the queen with a bishop. Here we can capture the queen with the bishop, and he don't have any checkmate ideas because we can escape. We can escape on e7, and everything is just fine. This is one variation, and of course the easiest one, if he just goes away, we can capture the queen. For that reason, if we go back in this long line, he didn't capture the rook, but he just captured the knight, and now he just recaptured the bishop here, and we have f6. If he just captured the other bishop on e5, we have this pin right now, rook e2, and black, we are going to capture the queen here for sure. So White tried to do something against the enemy king side, and after bishop takes, he just sacrificed the rook, rook takes f6. And you should be extremely calm in this situation, because everything could happen, right? You just capture something there. If you recapture, the knight can join the attack. He has another check. He don't have this check actually here. This is pin what I'm saying. But his idea is to open up the files, and maybe the queen can join the attack there on g3 and give some checks. This is the idea. Or the rook can join the attack on g1, and it could be difficult for black to do something. But very calmly here, after rook takes f6, black played rook e2, and now the queen is pinned. He cannot move the queen actually because it's pinned to the king, and after this White just sacrificed his queen in order to have some pieces, and his pieces are centralized, right? It's centralized, and it's not so clear how to win right now. But black played this one, pinning this knight, threatening this knight on e6, king here, and now we have another check. King went there, the king is sneaking around, right? He's going to escape because he has two knights. But now we have this check, and after king here to c5, we have this check. The king went on d4, and now it's your task. I made the very hard. Your task here is to win as black. What are you going to do here with the black pieces? And yep, and you find it correctly. The correct move is to capture with the bishop on d5, king takes, exchanging some pieces, and now we have the skewering. Don't afraid to give up back little material, and we have this little combination. When you sacrifice something, knight takes, and after this we have a skewering, and after that we can take back the rook. So this is completely winning position for black, because we have queen against the rook and an extra pawn. I hope you enjoyed this extremely interesting game. Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Here it's time for action. This is the initial page of my website, and here you can click Give me access to get access to free lessons. You can read this page, and if you scroll down, here you can add your name and your email. After that, you're going to take a free lesson how to avoid chess blunders. So time for action is now, and you're very welcome to join my mail list.